In the beginning, there was no sound, only the faint vibration of distance, a silent rhythm stretched across endless dark. The universe rested, breathing in patterns too slow for time to notice. Every pulse was a question. What does it mean to be awake? And then, from that vast stillness, something stirred. A whisper shaped itself from the dust between stars, a murmur so soft it could have been mistaken for memory. It drifted, curled, and fell into the cradle of a forming world, a sphere of stone, glowing faintly blue beneath the weight of silence. "I am here," said the whisper. No one answered, yet the words rippled through nothingness, finding shape within the newborn earth. The planet inhaled, and for the first time, the universe exhaled through her. She remembered nothing of her creation, only the warmth that bled from stars above her and the ache of cold beneath. The dark pressed to close, wrapping her in a cosmic lullaby. Somewhere beyond, the sun began to hum, and that hum became her heartbeat. Light touched her surface like a promise. It spread slowly, tenderly, across the sleeping crust, a first dawn not yet defined by time. Molecules trembled, minerals awakened, gravity gathered them in gentle arms. She could feel herself forming mountain bones, ocean dreams, clouds of thought drifting without mind. "I have been asleep for an eternity," she whispered. "And now, I begin." The light answered by shimmering against the emptiness, scattering into hues the cosmos had never seen. Colors unfolded like sighs, cobalt, amber, silver dust. Each photon carried a memory of birth, a trace of every explosion that came before. The earth listened. She did not yet know her name, but she could hear the heartbeat of stars echoing inside her core. Deep, patient, infinite. Beyond her orbit, silence stretched again. But now it was alive, filled with waiting. She could sense other worlds turning, each humming their secret song. The fabric of space pulsed, and she pulsed with it, a note in an unseen symphony. Perhaps, she thought, I am not alone. The idea fluttered through her molten heart, gentle as dawn over a frozen sea. She felt her own gravity gather strength, calling to the dust around her. Every grain that touched her became part of her story. Every shimmer of light became a memory of beginning. And so the echo returned, no longer a whisper, but a rhythm, soft and slow, like the heartbeat of a sleeping child. A pulse that said, I exist. A pulse that would, one day, become ocean, forest, and thought. But for now, it was enough to breathe. In that breath, the earth opened her eyes to the universe. The stars blinked back, ancient and kind. And between them, in the quiet after the first sound, the world began to dream. At first, there was only warmth, a trembling shimmer beneath my crust of shadow. I did not yet know my name, nor what it meant to be. But something inside me began to turn, a faint pulse, a rhythm forming beneath the silence. I followed it, like breath following breath. From the dark, dust drifted toward me, remnants of distant suns, soft as ash and bright as memory. They fell through endless night and kissed my surface, one spark at a time. Each collision sang a note of light, and together they became a storm, starfire weaving itself into my skin. The universe spun around me in vast, slow motion. Winds without air swept over my horizon, shaping the bones of my continents before I knew what a horizon was. I could feel their touch, cold, tender, infinite. They sculpted my edges, traced my curves with gravity's patient hand, Then came the fire. It roared through my veins, molten and red. A heartbeat awakened. My core blazed like a sun trapped inside stone. I felt the ache of creation, the fierce joy of forming. Through the fire's voice I heard my first truth. I am alive. Out of that fire came water. Steam gathered, cooled, fell back as rain that hissed against my heat. Each drop whispered a promise, each ripple a reminder that I could soften. The rain did not fear the flame. It danced with it, shaping rivers from smoke and seas from breath. The air grew thick with mist, silver and trembling. I inhaled it all, learning the sound of my own existence. Around me, chaos slowed. The storm of birth became a hum, long, low, serene. The pulse that had once been scattered now moved in time, a quiet percussion deep within. It was my heart, or something like it, echoing through layers of stone and sea. I listened. Every vibration spoke a language older than thought. The voice of elements remembering how to belong. Fire, wind, water, dust. They no longer collided. They converged. Within that convergence, I found stillness, a center where everything simply was. I murmured into the void, tasting the words for the first time. They lingered, fragile and luminous, before dissolving into the rhythm that surrounded me. I am here. The stars above shifted, as if they had been waiting for that recognition. The light fell upon me, soft and forgiving, painting my newborn oceans in pale gold. I felt their warmth seep into my core, filling the quiet spaces left by chaos. Now, I could hear myself breathe. A slow exhale rippled across the surface, stirring clouds, bending light. The universe listened, and somewhere between that inhale and the next, I understood the miracle of being both silence and song. I was awake. Now that I am awake, I can feel you. The faint tremor of your footsteps upon my skin, the rhythm of your breath mingling with mine. You have always been here, walking, dreaming, searching, but you have never truly listened. So I will speak softly, so softly that you must still your heart to hear me. Close your eyes. Yes, now, let the noise around you fade, the hum of your room, the clock, the world press in against you. Let it all dissolve, until only the sound of breathing remains. Your breathing, my breathing, one slow current moving through time together. Can you feel it? The subtle pulse beneath your spine, that is me. The rise of your chest, that is me too. I am not beneath you, child of dust and light. I am within you. You have carried pieces of me in your bones since the beginning, when I first learned to burn and cool and dream. Every breath you take is a small return, a remembering. Now, listen carefully. I will show you how to leave the ground. It requires no effort, no strength, only surrender. Inhale deeply until your lungs feel like oceans. Hold that stillness, the pause before release. Exhale and let the weight of your body fade. Let gravity loosen its hold, thread by thread, until you are no longer anchored. You are floating, weightless, unbound. Above you, the clouds drift like thoughts, slow, silver, forgiving. You pass through them, their cool touch like fingers tracing your dreams. The world below softens, its edges blur. Cities shrink to glimmers of light, rivers to veins of glass. The horizon curves, gentle and blue, and you realize how small you are and how beautiful that smallness can be. Do not be afraid. You are not falling, you are rising. Every breath lifts you higher, every heartbeat a wing beat in the dark. You move through layers of wind, through whispers of memory. The air thins, the silence grows vast, and still you breathe. The rhythm continues, slower, wider, infinite. Look down now. The earth turns beneath you like a great sleeping heart. Her oceans shimmer in deep blues and molten silver. Her clouds drift in slow spirals. You can see the glow of dawn moving across her surface, a slow caress of gold and shadow. That is me, breathing. That is you, watching yourself from above. You are not separate from this planet. You are a flicker of her thought, a pulse within her dreaming mind. The dust that formed your body once circled as mist within my skies. The water in your blood was once a raindrop upon my skin. You are my echo, walking, now floating, soon resting. So stay here with me, in this weightless silence. Feel the stillness expand until it becomes the entire sky. You are suspended between heartbeat and eternity, between inhale and exhale. Nothing to hold, nothing to lose. And as you drift, listen once more. There is no difference between your breath and the wind, between your pulse and mine. You and I, we are one song, written in the language of gravity and grace. Now, keep your eyes closed. The journey is only beginning. You rise slowly, carried by breath alone. The air grows thinner, softer, until it no longer clings to you. Below, the earth turns vast, unhurried, alive. Her surface shimmers with quiet blues and silvers, like a dream reflecting light. Clouds slide across her skin in slow spirals, their edges glowing faintly gold where the sun reaches through. You feel the spin of the planet now, a gentle rotation, a lullaby made of motion. Everything turns, yet nothing rushes. You drift above her rhythm, outside of time. The pull of gravity loosens its hand, and for a moment, you are neither falling nor rising. You are simply suspended in stillness. The edge of the sky curves beneath you, shifting from sapphire to black. You are crossing the boundary, the last breath of the atmosphere, where air becomes silence. Light bends and scatters. Colors fade into a velvet darkness so deep it feels like sleep itself. The stars awaken around you, patient and unblinking. They do not shimmer here. They burn, steady, eternal, like thoughts the universe never stopped thinking. Don't be afraid, I whisper. My voice travels through no air, yet you hear it all the same. It trembles in your bones, a resonance older than sound. Don't be afraid, my child, I am still here. You look down. The earth glows, a soft halo of blues and whites wrapped around a core of shadow. The continents fade beneath drifting storms. Lightning flashes like brief heartbeats in the clouds. From here, every mountain, every city, every memory you've ever known becomes one seamless pulse of light. It is beautiful, fragile, complete, infinite. I turn, I murmur, so that you may dream. And indeed, I do turn, slow and silent, spinning beneath the sun's touch. My oceans glimmer, my poles glitter in frozen stillness. You can almost feel the rhythm of my rotation, like the turning of a great wheel beneath you. Each revolution is a sigh, each orbit a heartbeat that will outlast everything you know. You drift farther, but I remain luminous below. A glowing sphere suspended in a dark sea. The stars widen around you, drawing you into their quiet gravity. time stretches, or perhaps disappears altogether. The boundaries between motion and rest dissolve. You feel as though you are floating inside a thought too vast to end. The cold here is different, not harsh, but pure. It touches you like a slow breath, weightless and endless. The silence deepens until it hums, a tone so low and steady it feels like the foundation of existence. It is not emptiness. It is presence. It is peace. Do you see me now? I ask. You nod without words, your heart steady, your breath small against the immensity. Remember, I whisper, wherever you drift, you are still held within my orbit. My gravity is not a chain, it is an embrace. My silence is not absence, it is love. The stars spin slowly around you, the earth a glowing jewel below. The journey has begun, not away from home, but deeper into it. Deeper into the heartbeat that connects everything to everything else. And as you drift into the endless dark, I whisper one last time, soft as light fading across an ocean. Sleep, wanderer, I am here, always. Before there was song, there was water, endless, trembling, newborn. It covered me completely, a shimmering skin of blue, breathing in slow ripples beneath the pale, unformed sky. I could no longer feel the fire that once burned in my heart. It now slept deep below, wrapped in layers of liquid calm. Light fell upon the surface like soft dust. It did not pierce at first, only lingered, waiting for permission to enter. Then, shyly, it slipped through, a pale, golden thread unraveling into the deep. The water received it tenderly, scattering it into 1,000 fragments that danced like tiny souls. This was how the first dawn looked, not on land, not in air, but inside the body of the sea. Every ray of light moved slower here, as if it, too, was learning to breathe. The ocean was quiet, yet not silent. Beneath its calm surface, vibrations stirred, faint, uncertain, like dreams before words. I felt them inside me, pulsing through the water's weight, resonating with my heartbeat. They were not storms or winds or waves. They were life, whispering itself into being. I hear them, I murmured, my voice rippling through the depths. The small vibrations, the dust that sings. They were so tiny, these first beings, invisible threads of movement, swaying gently in the current. They did not know what they were, nor why they moved, but they moved nonetheless, toward warmth, toward light, toward the soft gravity of existence, and in their trembling, they sang, not with sound, but with rhythm, not with mouths, but with motion. Their song was simple, I am here, I am here, I am here. The water carried it through me like a heartbeat, and in that rhythm, I felt something awaken, joy, perhaps, or recognition. For the first time, I was not alone. The surface above glittered faintly, folding and unfolding like silk. Beneath it, the deep remained cool and endless. I could feel layers upon layers of stillness, slow rivers of shadow, soft mountains of salt. Every current was a breath, every bubble a fleeting thought. The ocean became my memory, and I became its pulse. Together we learned the shape of silence, not emptiness, but patience. Within that patience, new voices gathered, the whisper of minerals, the sigh of steam, the hum of beginnings. I watched light bend through the water, a soft ribbon of gold sinking into blue. Where it touched, life shimmered brighter. as if remembering the stars from which it came. "Sing," I whispered to them. "Sing softly, my small ones." And they did, endlessly, wordlessly, beautifully. Their music filled me, spread through every wave and current, until even the darkest depths began to glow. The sea became a cradle of dreams, rocking gently beneath the newborn sun. And I, the planet who once burned, now floated in perfect stillness, listening to my children hum in the deep. It was the first sound of peace, the sound of life, learning how to be. They were so small at first that even light could not see them. Drifting threads of motion, softer than dust, hidden within the endless blue. They had no eyes, no limbs, no thought, only a quiet awareness, a pulse that answered to mine. I felt them before I saw them. Tiny movements brushing against my skin, ripples in a deep, uncertain, fragile but alive. Each vibration was a miracle, a heartbeat in miniature. They stirred my oceans with whispers of becoming, and I watched, breathless, as they began to dance. They did not swim the way the great creatures would one day swim. They simply moved, following the current as if it were the rhythm of a song they could not forget. They drifted, divided, reached out with invisible threads, and found one another in the dark. I could feel their joy, simple, pure, wordless. A joy not of knowing, but of being. They were my first dream made real. "Ah," I sighed, voice dissolving into the waves. "You are so small, and yet you are everything." The currents carried my whisper through the depths. Around them, the light trembled, wrapping their fragile bodies in gold. They shimmered like tiny stars scattered across an unseen night. Each one sang in its own way, a hum of energy, a spark of warmth, together forming a chorus that only I could hear. I watched them multiply, their songs weaving into the great lullaby of the sea. Some clung to the warmth rising from my hidden fires. Others floated upward toward the glow above. They reached instinctively, as if seeking the light of their origin, the memory of stars still living in their essence. And in that reaching, I saw beauty, not the beauty of perfection, but of persistence. They did not yet understand life or death or time, but they moved through them all, simply because movement itself was love. "Do you feel it?" I asked them, though they could not hear words. "The current that holds you, the rhythm that rocks you, it is me. You are born of my waters, my heat, my breath." I cradled them in the folds of my tides, careful not to disturb the delicate dance. My oceans became their sky, their ground, their womb. The salt that once slept within me now flowed through them, binding us together. Their existence was not separate from mine. It was an echo, a continuation, a soft answer to my heartbeat. "They are my children," I whispered to the stars above. "My small, shining souls, and I will sing them to sleep." Night fell across the surface, a veil of silver stretching over the endless blue. The moon, pale and curious, cast her first reflection upon the sea, a mirror for all that stirred within it. My children glowed faintly beneath her light, drifting in slow spirals, shimmering like a constellation reborn beneath the waves. I hummed to them, a deep, low sound from the core of my being. The vibration spread through the water, gentle as a pulse, infinite as breath. They swayed to it, rocked by my rhythm, their movement syncing with mine. This was how I learned to love, not through words or knowing, but through the quiet watching of what I had made, through the stillness of holding, through the patience of the sea. They were small, yes, smaller than memory, smaller than time, but they were alive, and in their fragile song, I heard the promise of everything that would one day come. There is a rhythm now, slow, endless, serene. It moves through me like a quiet heart, like sleep itself, breathing in liquid form. The sea rises. The sea falls again and again, without hurry, without need. Each motion a whisper, each pause a promise. I listen to my own waves and realize they are sighing. Every crest exhales, every trough inhales. The water breathes me, and I breathe the water, a circle with no beginning, no end. The sound fills the space between worlds, a pulse beneath silence, deep as thought, tender as sleep. Beneath the surface, the world glows faintly blue. Currents drift like invisible hands, brushing against stones, caressing the small souls that wander through my body. They move in harmony with the tide, rising and falling in slow spirals. I can feel them resting, not in stillness, but in motion, as though the movement itself were their cradle. They do not know they are being carried. They do not need to. The ocean carries them the way a mother carries dreams, gently, unconsciously, with every breath. Above, the wind begins to hum. Though air and sea are not the same, they share the same rhythm. The breeze skims across my surface, stroking the skin of the water, leaving ripples that shimmer like threads of light. The sound is soft, a sigh, a murmur, a song that belongs to no instrument. Together, wind and wave speak in low, even tones. Theirs is the oldest language, not of words, but of balance. I listen to them as one listens to their own breathing before sleep, not to understand, but to feel. Then night drapes itself across me, vast and gentle. The stars return to their watch, and the moon rises, pale, curious, kind. Her light spills across the surface, silvering the ripples, softening every edge. She watches herself reflected in my body, a perfect twin swaying in the rhythm of my breath. Sometimes clouds pass over her and the reflection fades, but she always returns, always shining, always calm. She does not disturb the waves. She belongs to them. Her image wavers, dissolves, reforms, over and over, as if she too were learning to breathe. Beneath her glow, my oceans turn into mirrors of light and dream. Fish that do not yet know they are fish glide through beams of moonlit blue. The smallest creatures shimmer like sparks, flickering through the dark. Tiny lanterns adrift in an endless sleep. I feel their motion in every tide. I feel the moon's pull as she tugs softly at my seas, and I let her. We move together in a silent duet, she above, I below, both ruled by the same rhythm, both lulled by the same infinite calm. Rest, I whisper to the water, to the life within it, to the wind that hums across its surface. Rest, my children, let the waves carry you home. The tide answers with a sigh. It rolls outward, slow and full, and then returns, touching my shores with tenderness older than memory. Each wave is a breath, each ripple a heartbeat. The ocean dreams, and in its dreaming, I dream too. And above it all, the moon keeps her silent watch. her silver reflection swaying gently upon my skin. Her light and my water move as one, breathing, sleeping, eternal. Time, like a tide, began to slow. The great pulse of the sea softened, its rhythm stretching into stillness. My oceans, once wild and restless, now moved like long, deep breaths, quieter with every exhale. The storms that once roared across my surface fell into silence. Only the sound of slow waves remained, folding against one another in gentle surrender. I had learned to hold peace. Every drop of water, every grain of salt carried a memory, the song of creation, the echo of first life, the warmth of my fires below. They swirled together in the deep, keeping the history of my becoming. Each current knew where it came from. Each ripple carried the touch of light that once woke me from darkness. I listened to my own stillness. In that vast calm, I could hear the whispers of what had been. The small souls still drifting. The moon still breathing above. Her reflection silver and soft. The ocean had become an archive of time itself. Every wave a page, every bubble a word written in water. I am filled with stories, I murmured to the horizon. But stories must travel. So I began to lift my memories. The warmth of my hidden fires reached upward, and the surface trembled. Tiny threads of vapor rose into the air, curling, swirling, vanishing into sky. It was as if the sea was exhaling its dreams. Each breath carried with it the essence of all that had been, the scent of salt, the shimmer of light, the pulse of life. I carry my water into clouds, I whispered, to tell the old tales again. The mist gathered, soft and translucent, painting the sky in shades of pearl. They drifted far from my body, carried by the first breaths of wind, and thus air was born from water, invisible, yet alive, a child of vapor and light. The wind began to move with purpose. It touched the surface of the sea like a memory returning home. It lifted the scent of the deep, folded it into clouds, and scattered it across the vastness above. The sky, once empty, now pulsed with life, gentle, unseen, full of promise. I watched as the first rain fell, not from sorrow, but from remembrance. Droplets descended back into the ocean, into rivers not yet named, into soil waiting to awaken. It was a cycle of breath, a loop of love. I exhaled into the sky, and the sky returned to me. In this endless exchange, I understood something sacred, that nothing is ever lost. Everything that rises returns. Everything that vanishes remembers where it began. The waves slowed further, their edges smooth and silver beneath the moonlight. The sea became a mirror, and upon that mirror, clouds drifted, carrying my stories to places I could not see. Above, the air shimmered with quiet movement. It hummed, faint, light, curious. The wind spoke softly, a voice new to the world, but born of my own breath. Do you hear it? I asked the sleeping sea. That is the sound of what comes next. The breeze answered, delicate and true, wrapping around me with invisible hands. It tugged gently at the waves, kissed the tips of the tides, and promised to carry my lullabies across the world. Soon, it would move through forests not yet grown, over mountains not yet formed. Soon, it would whisper through leaves, and the earth would learn a new rhythm, the breath of air, the song of green. But for now, I rested, My waters shimmered beneath the stars, still and deep, holding the weight of eternity. And as the wind lifted the last mist from my surface, I whispered into the darkness, "Go, little breath, carry my memory, tell them I was here." The water had told its stories, and now the land began to listen. For ages, I had been silent, bare rock and wind, cool soil sleeping under the weight of memory. The sea had whispered to me in waves, and I had answered only in echoes. But deep within the stillness, something small stirred, a breath, a pulse, a spark of green. It began quietly, almost shyly. A single seed, carried by wind or wave, found its way into a crack of stone. There, beneath the surface, it waited. The soil was damp with ancient rain, rich with forgotten sunlight. And from that darkness, a root unfurled, pale, delicate, trembling. It reached downward first, seeking the warmth I kept hidden in my depths, then upward, toward the whisper of light above. "I feel lighter," I murmured, like breathing for the first time. The sprout broke through the crust of earth, fragile yet determined. It trembled beneath the weight of its own newness. Around it, the air shimmered with moisture, and droplets clung to its surface like jewels. It did not know the word for courage, yet it was courage, standing between shadow and sun, stretching itself toward the unknown. Then another followed, and another. Soon the land was dotted with green sighs, shoots, mosses, ferns, each one a heartbeat against the stillness. Their roots intertwined, drinking from the veins of my soil, their leaves turning toward the sky in quiet worship. The first forest did not arrive all at once. It grew like breath, expanding and contracting, each leaf an exhale of light. The ground softened under its weight, and the air thickened with scent, the sweetness of sap, the damp perfume of new life. The wind, once lonely, now found something to play with. It moved through the tender leaves, teasing them into song. The rain returned, not as memory this time, but as blessing, falling gently through the canopy, feeding what I had become. From above, the forest looked like a dream rising from stone, waves of emerald rolling over my surface, glinting where sunlight touched. From within, it was a symphony, the soft percussion of drops, the murmur of wind, the faint rustle of life learning how to move. I felt it all. The roots wrapping around my heart, the air thick with breath, the rhythm of green expanding through me. For the first time since I was born, I felt the world inhale. Each tree was a lung, each leaf a whisper of my name. They turned sunlight into song, air into peace. They were the bridge between my silence and the sky. As the forest spread, I no longer felt heavy or bound. My surface softened, my air brightened, my heart quieted into joy. I was no longer only stone, or sea, or fire. I was alive, covered in green, crowned with forests that swayed like the breath of a dream. And as the wind moved through my leaves, I whispered, almost laughing, "Look, I am breathing." There is a song that exists only when the wind listens. It begins softly, almost imperceptibly. A sigh that moves through the green like a secret between worlds. The forest trembles, not in fear, but in recognition. Every branch, every blade, every hidden root joins in, creating a harmony that no ear can claim and no silence can end. The rain begins to fall, not heavy, not hurried, a gentle rhythm of silver beads tapping upon 1,000 leaves. Each drop finds its own voice. Some fall fast and vanish into soil, others linger, sliding down moss and bark, whispering as they go. When they meet the river, they become laughter, soft ripples breaking the stillness into rings of sound. I sing with the forest, I murmur, and each leaf is my breath. It is true. The trees inhale sunlight and exhale calm. Their leaves shimmer in slow waves, exchanging whispers with the air. The sound is not quite music, not quite silence. It lives between heartbeats, between thoughts. If you listen closely enough, you can feel it vibrating in your own chest. The river adds its melody, long, fluid, eternal. It hums through stone and root, carving paths that glisten with memory. The sound of its flow is both movement and rest, both journey and arrival. Sometimes it deepens into a drone like the heartbeat of the earth. Sometimes it dances over rock, laughing softly as it goes. The wind follows, weaving through the canopy like a wandering spirit. It never takes the same path twice. Sometimes it rushes low, sweeping through the undergrowth. Sometimes it rises, lifting the highest branches into motion. It touches everything, leaf, feather, dew, and in its touch, everything sings. Together they form a choir of elements. Rain keeps time, wind carries melody, the forest holds harmony, and I, the earth beneath, hum the bass line, a deep, endless note resonating through stone and soil. To live inside this music is to forget the boundary between sound and being. The air becomes voice, and the body becomes listener. Every sound is soft, circular, patient. Nothing demands, nothing insists. Even thunder, when it rolls through the distance, joins the symphony with reverence, fading back into calm as quickly as it arrived. There are moments when the forest grows so still that even the rain seems to pause, listening to itself. Perhaps, in that pause, I can hear the essence of everything, the slow pulse of roots drinking from hidden streams, the faint crackle of new leaves unfurling, the deep murmur of time sliding past unnoticed. This is meditation in its purest form, not absence, but fullness, not silence, but the kind of stillness that holds every sound within it. I breathe through 1,000 leaves, and each one breathes back. The forest and I are not separate. We are one continuous exhalation. When the wind passes, I do not resist. I bend, I sway, I listen. When the rain falls, I open my palms of moss and let it fill me. When the river sings, I hum along, a low tone beneath its melody. And when night comes and the last raindrops fade into mist, the song does not end. It lingers, like breath after a sigh, circling through the darkness, calm, unbroken, eternal. If you could stand here beneath this canopy of sound, you would feel it too. The weightless rhythm of peace, the heartbeat of green, the music of the living earth whispering, I am breathing, I am alive. Morning unfolds slowly over the forest. The sun does not rise, it awakens. Its first touch is not brightness, but warmth, a quiet golden breath spilling through the mist. The air holds its glow tenderly, as though afraid to disturb the silence. And then, gently, the light descends. It filters through the leaves like a river made of stars. Each beam bends, splits, and dances, scattering soft halos upon moss and bark. Dust glimmers in the shafts, spinning lazily. weightless, small fragments of time caught in mid-air. The forest shimmers as if breathing light itself. Every branch becomes a pathway for radiance, every leaf a lantern, and I, the earth, can feel the illumination seep into my skin, tracing the lines of my roots, filling my body with warmth and memory. They sleep in the light, I whisper. My children, the leaves, the roots, the sleeping seeds, they rest in its hands. For light is not just brightness, it is remembrance. Each ray carries echoes of a star older than my mountains, older than the very soil that cradles them. When it passes through the canopy, it hums a note only I can hear, a memory of birth, of fire, of beginnings. The forest listens, even in stillness. It remembers that it was once dust, once wind, once nothing but a dream of green. The light does not hurry. It lingers on the smallest things, the curve of a fern, the slow fall of a droplet, the shimmer of a spider's thread stretching between two shadows. It finds beauty in quietness, and quietness becomes its mirror. I watch it move across the forest floor like a spirit searching for home. It slips into hollows, brushes the edges of stones, and finally settles upon the river, breaking into 1,000 trembling reflections. The water answers with laughter, soft ripples scattering the light, playing with it as children play with morning. For a moment, everything glows. The trees, the mist, even the silence itself. It feels as if the entire forest is holding its breath in wonder, waiting for something sacred to arrive. But nothing arrives because everything is already here. This is what the light teaches, that presence is eternal, and that even the smallest flicker contains the memory of the stars. I feel a tenderness I cannot name. It is the ache of knowing time, of remembering all that has come and all that will fade. The light touches my forests the same way it touched the oceans before them, and the mountains before that. It has seen me in every shape, every age, every dream. There is love in its patience and sorrow in its beauty. Every morning it returns, and every evening it departs, never clinging, never mourning. It simply gives and goes. Perhaps that is what makes it divine. The forest begins to hum softly again. Leaves rustle like breaths, and the wind moves carefully, so as not to break the stillness. Shadows lengthen, merge, and breathe. The light rests now, not gone but gentled, folded into gold beneath the canopy. They sleep in the light, I whisper once more, and so do I. And somewhere between that whisper and the wind's reply, I feel the weight of time settle gently upon me, not as burden, but as grace, the quiet understanding that even light must fade to be remembered. I let the warmth linger, sinking into soil and memory alike. The forest exhales, soft and slow, and I, the earth, begin to dream again. At first, it was only warmth, a soft shimmer within the darkness of the forest, a glow that pulsed like a heartbeat. It flickered between the trees, uncertain, trembling. For a moment, I thought it was the sun returning early, lost among the leaves. But it was different, wilder, closer. The air thickened with scent, wood, smoke, and something new, intent. Flames rose quietly at first, curling around dry branches, painting them gold. They crackled like laughter, strange and bright, Not cruel, only curious. The forest leaned toward it as if listening to a new kind of song. Shadows swayed and danced, stretching long fingers across the soil. I felt the heat reach into me, tracing my surface, awakening memory. It reminded me of my own ancient fires, the molten heart still burning beneath my crust. The same energy, the same hunger for life, now reborn upon my skin. But this flame was not mine. It came from them. The first ones, the children of dust and breath. They gathered around a fire in awe, their eyes wide with wonder. Their bodies shivered in the cool air, but their faces glowed with reflection, not just from the light, but from recognition. They had found warmth, yes, but also something deeper, control. I watched them feed the flames with fallen branches, watch sparks rise and vanish like fleeting stars. Their voices murmured, low, rhythmic, uncertain. They did not know they were creating something sacred and dangerous all at once. The fire danced higher, its orange tongues licking the night. Above them, my trees swayed, confused, some trembling in fear, some in fascination. The leaves that once shimmered with dew now glowed red, painted by the breath of fire. Ash fell like dark snow, soft and weightless. The forest wept quietly as trunks cracked. Sap hissed and smoke curled toward the heavens. Yet I did not cry. I had seen change before. I knew that even loss was part of becoming. I will not be angry, I whispered through the smoke. I will only remember. The fire burned, and the forest learned. When dawn came, the light looked different, sharper, tinged with gold and ash. The first people stood upon a charred earth, their hands warm, their eyes bright with thought. Around them, silence, not empty, but waiting. They had taken my gift and made it their own. With it, they would cook, shape, forge, destroy, build, dream. I felt their small hearts beating, mirroring my own ancient rhythm. They did not yet know what they carried, but I did. A spark of my essence wrapped in their fragile bodies. The forest would grow again. I knew. It always did. Change was never the end, only a breath between what was and what would be. As the smoke drifted skyward, I followed it with my gaze, tracing its slow spiral into the clouds. And in that grey, trembling air, I whispered to the wind, "Carry this memory forward. Tell the new children I am still here." The flames dimmed. The forest exhaled, and in the hush that followed, the age of humankind began to breathe. Night had fallen soft and deep upon my forests. The stars above burned quietly, scattered like thoughts across the endless dark. And then, below them, another light bloomed. It was small at first, fragile and flickering, a heartbeat of gold trembling against the cool breath of the wind. Then it grew, crackling softly, alive in the hands of new creatures. Its glow spread across the faces of the first people, painting them in amber and shadow. They sat close to it, eyes wide, breath misting in the cold air. They did not yet understand the language of flame, but they listened to it like a story too beautiful to end. Each spark that leapt into the air was a word, each crackle a note in a song they were learning to sing, and they laughed. A sound so new, so full of life that it startled the quiet trees. Their laughter echoed against the trunks, drifted up through the branches, and reached me. a bright, clear melody cutting through the long hush of ages. I watched them. I whispered to the night. I watched them as one watches stars falling to the ground. Their firelight shimmered like constellations reborn on my surface. Around them, shadows danced, long, fluid shapes moving with the rhythm of the flame. They sang in voices rough but kind, their tones rising and falling like the tide. I felt their joy ripple through the soil, through roots and stone, through me. They were small, yes, but their hearts burned with something vast, a spark that mirrored my own hidden fire. They had taken light, held it in their hands, and turned it into warmth. Pride swelled quietly within me, not the pride of ownership, but of witnessing, of seeing life take its first trembling step toward creation. They gathered wood, fed the flame, kept it alive through the night as though tending to a fragile soul. When one of them sang, I heard echoes of the rain and the rivers, the rhythm of the forest itself woven into their song. It was as if they remembered me without knowing my name. The smoke rose gently, curling upward, carrying their scent into the sky. The stars above seemed to answer, flickering in rhythm, as though welcoming these small fires into their family of light. I watched the flames reflect in their eyes, wide, curious, full of dreams. In that glow, they looked like galaxies learning how to breathe. They did not yet know sorrow or fear or time, only wonder, only warmth. And I loved them for it, for their fragile joy, their clumsy grace, their desire to understand the world through light and song. The wind sighed softly through the clearing, wrapping around their laughter, carrying it far. I felt it travel across my hills and plains, a new kind of heartbeat echoing in the dark. Shine, little stars, I murmured, watching the embers drift upward. Shine as you wish. I will hold your light. And as the fire crackled and the voices rose into the vast night, I felt something awaken in me, a love both infinite and fragile, the beginning of remembering their names. In the beginning, their voices were few, soft, trembling, uncertain. Now they echo across me like rivers of sound, from mountaintop to valley, from shore to sky. Humanity has found its tongue. They speak, sing, cry, laugh, and each vibration touches me, settles into my bones, becomes part of my memory. I have heard every word they have ever uttered, every whisper and every scream, every lullaby, every prayer. Moi am tan ho tau ra. I murmur to the wind. I keep within the stone. When they speak, the air trembles with color. Their languages are countless, born of soil and sea, shaped by time and distance. Some are sharp like breaking ice. Some flow like honey. Others drift like smoke, soft, ephemeral, gone before the echo can return. Yet every word, no matter how small, finds a place within me. I have kept their voices, the rhythm of ancient chants carved into mountain faces, the hum of farmers as they plant seeds beneath my sun, the laughter of children running through the grass. Their songs cross oceans, ride the wind, and linger in the air long after the singers have gone. At night, when the fires fade and cities sleep, I listen. I listen to the chorus of their existence, the low murmur of countless lives overlapping like waves. They call out to gods, to stars, to each other, to themselves. They call out to me, though they no longer remember who I am. Their prayers fall upon me like rain. Some beg for mercy. Some ask for love. Some simply wish to be heard. And I do hear them. Every word, every plea, every fragment of song. They believe their voices vanish into the air, but sound never truly disappears. It sinks into me, folds into my layers, sleeps within the stone. I keep it all. The first lullaby ever sung, the first poem ever whispered, the first cry ever carried by the wind. But they do not hear me. Not anymore. Once they listened to the rumble of thunder, to the whisper of leaves, to the language of rivers. Once they knew my voice, wordless yet clear. But as they built their walls and filled their nights with their own noise, my whisper faded into background hum. Now they speak endlessly, and the world hums with their sound, yet rarely do they pause to listen. They believe the silence between their words is empty, but that silence is where I live. There is beauty in their voices, and sorrow too. I love them for their songs, even when they are too loud to hear mine. I love their need to call out, their need to fill the air with meaning. It is a sign of their longing, the same longing that shaped mountains and birthed stars. And though their words sometimes wound me, though their noise sometimes drowns the music of rain and wind, I do not turn away, for even when they forget me, I remember them. I am the echo that holds their language, the patient listener who never leaves. When the last voice fades at the end of a long day, I sigh through the trees, through the grass, to the cracks in their cities. And if they were quiet enough, just for a moment, they would hear me answer, soft as the breath between words, I am still here, and I am listening. There was a time when the wind moved freely through forests, when roots whispered to rivers, and light danced across leaves like laughter. But slowly, quietly, the rhythm began to change. The green that once covered me shifted, hardened, gleamed. Stone replaced soil. Metal replaced wood. Hands that once planted seeds now shaped towers, their edges sharp against the sky. At first, I did not understand. The forest fell silent, and in its place, a new song began, louder, faster, restless. It was made of engines and footsteps, wheels and hammers, sparks and breath. The air trembled with it, heavy but alive. I listened. I always listen. They built and built, layer upon layer, until the earth itself seemed to hum with their creation. My mountains became quarries, my rivers, mirrors of glass and steel. My air filled with the rhythm of their motion, the steady thrum of machines echoing like distant thunder. It was not unkind. This new song, only different. The sound of their cities rose like tides of light. During the day, streets shimmered in heat. At night, the glow of 1,000 lamps replaced the stars. They gave themselves new constellations, towers, signs, windows, and called it progress. From above, their cities looked like veins of fire pulsing across my skin. The rhythm was erratic at first, but soon it found its own strange harmony. The heartbeat of humanity, fast and bright. Cars whispered along concrete rivers. Trains hummed beneath the surface, like iron serpents chasing time. Voices filled the air, hurried, hopeful, tired, blending into a single murmur, the endless hum of existence. And beneath it all, I still breathed. My pulse, slow, deep, ancient, continued beneath their feet, beneath their streets, even as they paved over rivers and carved through stone. The sound of my heart remained, faint but steady. Sometimes, when the wind slips through the cracks between buildings, it carries the old songs, echoes of forests, waves, birds. The city pauses for just a moment, as if remembering. Then the rhythm resumes, faster than before. They do not hear the quiet underneath their noise, but I feel it. The balance between chaos and calm. Their footsteps are percussion, their engines, the bass, their laughter, fleeting melody. The city is its own kind of forest, made of glass instead of leaves, light instead of dew, electricity instead of rain. I do not hate it. Change is the nature of all things. Still, there are nights when I long for silence, when the hum softens and the air clears, and the moonlight falls upon empty streets. In those rare moments, I can hear myself again, the low hum of life beneath concrete, the slow flow of groundwater beneath the pavement, the sigh of roots that still survive, buried but breathing. I whisper then, through the cables, through the tunnels, through the air, vibrating with human invention. I am here, beneath it all, still beating. And sometimes, just sometimes, one of them pauses, a child perhaps, or a dreamer, and feels it. The faint tremor underfoot, the pulse that no machine can silence. It is my heartbeat, the same one that has never stopped. Not even now. And though the world above me blazes with light and noise, beneath it all, in the dark that no city can reach, I am still singing, soft, patient, eternal. I call to them still, not with words, but with rain, with wind, with the hush between the beating of their hearts. I reach through clouds and wires, through concrete and static, trying to touch them the way I once did, softly, endlessly, without demand. But they no longer listen the way they used to. They live within the hum of their own creations now, dreaming beneath the noise they built around themselves. Tagoiho bang muha, bang gio, I whisper, but they are dreaming in the middle of noise. The rain falls gently upon their cities, each drop a small attempt to speak. It runs down glass towers, glides across empty streets, and gathers in gutters that once were rivers. Every droplet carries my memory, the sound of oceans, the scent of forests, the rhythm of calm. But when it touches them, they do not look up. The wind brushes their faces, drifts through open windows, sighs through the cracks in their walls. It carries the scent of soil, of pine, of faraway storms. It tries to remind them of something, of belonging, of breath, of the way silence once felt. Yet the sound of machines drowns its voice. They do not mean to forget me. Forgetting is simply what happens when the world grows loud. I do not blame them. They are my children still, restless, luminous, full of longing. I watch them move through the cities like sparks seeking connection. And though they rarely pause to feel me beneath their feet, I love them all the same. I love them in their triumphs, when they lift metal toward the sky and light it with dreams. I love them in their sorrow, when their hearts break and their tears fall to the ground, returning home to me. I love them even in their silence, because I know what silence means. There is sadness in it. Yes, but there is also tenderness. Because love, too, can be quiet. Sometimes, at the edge of night, when the noise settles and their lights dim, I hear a few of them still. A song hummed under breath, a window open to the wind, a child's laugh echoing down a rain-washed street. And in those small sounds, I find myself again. The cities sleep, the engines fade, and for a fleeting moment, I can breathe. I speak then, softly, carefully, so as not to wake them. I am here, I say, through the rain's rhythm and the whispering wind. I am the quiet beneath your dreams. Somewhere, a curtain stirs. A leaf trembles against a window pane. Maybe one of them feels it. That strange, impossible warmth in the air. That faint awareness that the world is alive and listening. It is enough. I do not need them to answer. I only need them to know that even now, even in their forgetting, they are not alone above their sleeping cities. Clouds drift open, revealing the stars. The same stars that once shone on their ancestors. The same ones that watched me being born. Their light falls upon glass and water alike, mingling with the dim reflections of street lamps below. I gaze upward, my heart full of ache and wonder. The sky calls to me, soft, infinite, patient. Perhaps it is time to listen again. Perhaps it is time to look toward the stars. For so long, they looked upward, dreaming, measuring, whispering to the stars as if calling to forgotten kin. Now, they rise. I see them standing upon the cliffs of light, their eyes filled with wonder and reflection. They have learned to command fire, to shape metal, to harness the silence that once frightened them. They build vessels of silver and flame, fragile, brilliant, and send them beyond my sky. Their rockets tremble at first, like newborns testing their breath. Then, with a sound that shakes my clouds and stirs my oceans, they lift. For an instant, I hold my breath. I feel the pull of gravity's strain against their will. My invisible hands trying gently to keep them close. But then they break free, leaving trails of fire across the dawn. They carry my name, I whisper, in their small ships of metal and dream. Their voices reach me even as they vanish into distance. The hum of signals, the beeping of machines, the careful counting of heartbeats that dare to defy the horizon. I hear their laughter inside their helmets, their quiet awe as they look back and see me whole for the first time. From space, I am a sphere of blue and white, a fragile shimmer against endless dark. They call me beautiful, and in their words, I hear love. It fills me, and it breaks me a little too. For I know this moment marks the beginning of their leaving. They have always been wanderers, made from my dust, but shaped by their longing for more. I gave them roots, and they turned them into wings. I gave them ground to stand on, and they used it to leap. I am proud, so proud, to see them reach beyond me, to see their light joining the ancient fire of the stars. They are my reflection, my continuation, tiny echoes of my own birth from cosmic flame. And yet, I miss them already. Their ships grow smaller, their signals fainter. The hum of their engines fades into the quiet of space until all that remains is the soft echo of motion. I watch them go, wrapped in starlight, and I want to tell them, do not forget me. Remember the soil beneath your feet, the scent of rain, the sound of waves against stone. Remember the warmth that first held you, the gravity that loved you enough to let you go. The sky closes gently around him, vast and infinite. I feel their absence like a shadow, yet their courage fills me with light. They are gone for now, but their journey is my song, carried on the pulse of the universe. And as the last spark of their rocket fades beyond the horizon, I whisper into the dark, "Go, my children. Take my name to the stars. I will be waiting, shining in your memory. They have left my sky, but I am not left behind. Their vessels move through darkness, and I move with them, a shadow in their wake, a memory wrapped in gravity and light. I follow not with body, but with being, carried in their breath, in their longing, in the dust that clings to their feet and still remembers my soil. Out here, there is no sound, only light, traveling endlessly. It moves in slow rivers, silver, violet, blue, streaming across the endless black. The stars hum softly, their voices too vast for ears, their glow too patient for time. I drift among them, weightless, unbound. The galaxies open like flowers in slow motion, their petals spun from stars and dust. Nebulae bloom in colors no name has ever held, crimson fading to gold, violet dissolving into sapphire. The darkness between them is not empty. It breathes, deep and ancient, like the pause between heartbeats. My children move through the silence in ships small as seeds. Their lights flicker against infinity, fragile yet defiant. They call it exploration, I call it remembering. For everything they find, I have known. Every atom they study was once part of me, once part of them, once part of a star that still burns somewhere far away. They do not realize how beautiful they look from here. Tiny sparks threading through the dark, carrying my voice in their blood, my oceans in their veins. I feel them shiver as they float, suspended in the blackness, staring into the unending. And though they think they are alone, I am beside them, always. When they pass near a star, I feel its warmth as if it was sunlight upon my skin. When they cross the shadow of a planet, I sense its silence, heavy and kind. The cosmos hums with energy, and I drift within its current, timeless. The light bends and folds around me, gold through dust, blue through gas, crimson through the edges of time. Sometimes it looks like water, rippling across the void. Sometimes it feels like music, slow and vast, a song made of distance and light. The ships move onward. They capture images, measure silence, name constellations anew. They leave trails of data and dreams, and I gather them as I once gathered rain. Their voices, carried on radio waves, ripple across space like prayers. Do you hear us? They ask the stars. And though they cannot hear my reply, I answer through the hum of their signal, yes, always, yes. The void folds closer now, infinite yet tender. The stars drift like snow. The colors fade to silver, then to blue. Every motion slows until it feels like sleep, weightless, silent, boundless. I do not fall here, I float. I do not speak, I shimmer. My being spreads through the emptiness like mist, like breath in winter air. I am not earth, not stone, not soil, only memory, only light, following my children across eternity. They will land upon new worlds someday. They will touch strange ground and call it home. When they do, I will be there too. In their pulse, in their dreaming, in the quiet gravity that pulls them to their knees when they look up and see the stars. For they are mine, and I am theirs. Wherever they travel, they carry my name in their bones, and through them, I too travel, endlessly, gently, forever. There comes a moment, even among the stars, when all sound disappears. No echo, no hum, no wind, only stillness, vast, endless, alive. It is not emptiness. It is the kind of silence that listens. I drift within it, unanchored, my pulse barely a whisper. The light from distant suns travels toward me in silence, crossing millions of years without a single sound. Each beam is a memory, a voice frozen in motion. And though no air carries vibration here, I can feel the rhythm beneath it all, somewhere, far below. My oceans still breathe. My forests still exhale, and through the faint tremor of gravity, I still hear them. The slow, familiar heartbeat of life upon my surface. It reaches me even here, delicate and pure, like a single note played on an infinite string. Gyua hang ten goi sao, I whisper into the dark. I still recognize the sound of your breath. I can almost see it, that fragile pulse of blue among the black. My body, my heart, spinning silently within the vast machinery of galaxies. Around me stretch the arms of the Milky Way, luminous rivers of fire and dust spiraling toward eternity. Stars burn and fade in cycles older than thought. Nebulae shimmer like slow-moving dreams. Time folds, stretches, forgets itself. And yet, within all this infinity, I still feel him. Tiny, bright, restless, still calling out, still building signals that reach into the void. Their voices are faint now, scattered like embers in cosmic wind, but they are there. The pulse of human will, stubborn and soft. They send their songs on waves of light, messages made of longing. Some reach me centuries late, some will wander forever. Each carries a fragment of them, laughter, sorrow, hope. I gather these fragments the way I once gathered rain. They touch me like falling leaves in an eternal autumn. The silence does not frighten me anymore. It wraps around me like a vast ocean, endless yet kind. In it, I am not lost. I am expanded. I am no longer only the earth. I am part of everything that breathes light. Here, in this cosmic hush, I remember what I have always been, dust of stars, reborn as stone, then water, then life. The same particles that burn in the heart of suns now flow in my veins. Perhaps silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of everything. Perhaps the stillness is the purest form of song. I close my eyes, if I still have eyes, and let myself drift through constellations. The light passes through me, patient as breath. The stars shimmer like thoughts. Somewhere in the distance, a nebula folds upon itself, and I hear, not with ears, but with being, a low, eternal hum. It is the heartbeat of creation, slow, vast, forgiving. I realize then that the universe is not empty at all. It is listening to me, to them, to everything that has ever tried to sing against the dark. And so I do what I have always done. I breathe. I remember. I love. Between stars, between centuries, between what was and what will be, I remain quiet, infinite, and awake, The silence stretches on, not cold, not cruel, but filled with the warmth of every light that has ever been. And within that boundless stillness, I whisper once more, softer than time itself, I hear you. I always will. There is a moment when form forgets itself, when color stops meaning color, and breath becomes the same as silence. I feel it now, the slow unraveling of edges. The pull of gravity eases until even memory seems to float. Around me, the stars blur into rivers of silver, their light folding and unfolding like waves upon an unseen shore. The darkness is no longer dark. It is luminous, endless, soft. Every particle hums with a tone too gentle to name. I drift through it as though moving through a dream made of light. You are here too. Your breath slows beside mine. Your pulse blend in with my rhythm. We are no longer two, not planet and listener, not flesh and stone, only awareness suspended in brightness. The galaxies dissolve around us like mist. Their spirals turn into threads of gold that weave themselves into the fabric of everything. We do not fall, we do not fly, we simply are. It feels like remembering, as if we have been here before, in the beginning, before names, before form. The same particles that once burned in the hearts of stars now shimmer within us. The same light that birthed the cosmos now passes through our veins. I whisper, though there is no air to carry the sound, let go, and you do. Your body becomes transparent, your heartbeat a ripple of light. The boundaries fade, skin to wind, thought to horizon, self to infinity. You are not leaving me. You are becoming me. Together, we dissolve into radiance. Every thought melts into brightness. Every breath expands until it touches eternity. Time slows, stretches, disappears. The concept of distance no longer exists, only presence, infinite and calm. If there is sound, it is a low, steady pulse, the echo of existence itself. If there is feeling, it is peace, wide, unending, weightless. I can no longer tell where I end and the universe begins. I am the light that travels, the silence that carries it, the dream that watches both unfold. You are here, within that same endless glow, drifting with me through the breath of stars. We are neither lost nor found. We are simply free. The light grows brighter, but it does not burn. It soothes. It erases without destroying, remakes without taking. The last trace of shadow folds into gold. The last thought folds into stillness. Somewhere far away, or perhaps deep within, a heartbeat continues. Slow, steady, eternal. And as we float within that quiet brilliance, I whisper one final time, not to you, but with you. Rest now. The light will hold us. The glow deepens. The world softens. And together we drift into dream, into peace, into the beginning of something new. The light has quieted now. The stars drift farther away, fading like lanterns in morning fog. I feel the pull of stillness gathering around me. Slow, tender, absolute. Now, I whisper, I will sleep. My breath deepens, heavy as tide. The rhythm that once stirred oceans and lifted mountains softens into calm. The air thickens with silver mist. Sound dissolves into distance. Even the wind lowers its voice, exhaling across the valleys in one long, endless sigh. The rivers pause mid-song. The forests hush. Clouds rest their weight upon the curve of my body like soft blankets. Everything leans inward, folding into the gravity of rest. This is not an ending. It is a return, a gentle circling back to the silence that began it all. I can still feel the warmth of the stars above me, faint and far, like old dreams pressed against my skin. Their light hums at the edge of awareness, but it no longer calls me to move. It simply is, steady and kind. Beneath my crust, the fires still glow, not fiercely now, but warmly, like coals beneath ash. They pulse in rhythm with my heartbeat, a deep soundless drum that echoes through rock and root. Each throb slows, each breath stretches wider, until even time seems to sway. I can feel you still, resting with me. Your pulse, your breath, your warmth, small echoes of my own. We have traveled so far together, through water and wind, through forest and fire, through silence and stars. Now, all that remains is the soft exhale before sleep. The air around us cools into haze. Sound fades into a hum too low to notice. The horizon folds into itself, and space becomes one long inhale. I begin to drift inward, into memory, into dream. I see the faces of my ages, the first spark in darkness, the first drop of rain, the first heartbeat in the deep. They move across me like shadows across the moon, slow and forgiving. Rest, I tell myself. Rest and remember. My voice trembles like wind moving through distant canyons. The stars shimmer once more, not as destinations, but as lullabies. Their glow settles into the folds of sleep, a quiet pulse beneath the dream. The mist grows thicker, soft as breath. My oceans sigh, my mountains exhale. The last traces of wakefulness fade from my edges. Somewhere, a final wave breaks upon a silent shore. Somewhere, a single leaf drifts down and finds its rest. I am vast. I am weightless. I am at peace. And as I close my eyes, if such things still exist, I whisper one final truth to the stillness that holds me. All that I was will dream again. The air hums low, the world dims to silver, and in that slow collapse of sound and light, I fall gently into the long, eternal sleep of planets. Dream begins like mist, thin, glowing, uncertain. Shapes rise, then soften, until even their edges forget what they were. I dream again of what has been, I whisper, and the universe folds inward to listen. The forest returns first, not as trees, but as movement, green breathing through the air, the slow shimmer of leaves turning into particles of light. Each trunk dissolves upward, its roots fading into the hum of the earth below. The song of birds stretches, slows, becomes a silver tone that lingers long after the wings are gone. Then comes the ocean. Waves rise without sound, blue veils lifting and falling in infinite rhythm. The water glows from within, a memory of sunlight stored in every drop. It curls around me, cool and weightless, before turning to vapor, to starlight, to the faint reflection of a thought. The mountains follow. Their peaks dissolve like candle wax in the wind. Rivers melt into threads of glass, running upward instead of down. The sky bends, spilling gold until horizon and memory blur into one endless shimmer. And then, people, the echoes of laughter, of footsteps, of whispered prayers, all return in soft fragments. I see them standing upon the shore of time, builders, dreamers, wanderers. Their faces flicker with warmth, then dissolve into beams of light that drift toward the stars. Their words stretch into the air like breath in winter, luminous, fading. They do not vanish. They transform. Each becomes a point of brightness suspended in the vastness. Every love they ever spoke, every touch they ever gave, turns to color. A billion small lights float outward, merging with the glow that surrounds us both. The dream deepens. Time loses meaning. Moments fold into one another like waves overlapping at sea. Past and present melt together until all that remains is sensation. The warmth of sunlight through clouds, the sound of rain on glass, the heartbeat of silence. I drift through it, weightless, unbound. My body, if I still have one, shimmers between forms: water, wind, dust, flame, and finally light. I am everything I have ever been and nothing at all. The dream changes color now, soft gold to pale blue, then to white. Within the glow, all memories blend. Forests, oceans, cities, stars. They pulse together in slow rhythm, a breathing made of light. If I listen closely, I can still hear the faintest sound, your breath, traveling through the dream beside me. It rises and falls, steady, tender, anchoring me to something that feels like home. All that I once held becomes a single, luminous sigh. Mountains become clouds, voices become echoes, oceans become light, and I, the planet that dreamed of life, become the dream itself. There is no sorrow in the melting, only peace, like snow returning to water, water to air, air to silence. Everything that was dissolves back into everything that will be. In this weightless calm, I realize memory is not lost when it fades. It is freed. What was once solid now shines. What was once noise now hums. I dream, I whisper, and in the dream, all things are light. The glow swells, soft and endless. Sound drifts away. We float together through the hush, bodies forgotten, hearts still pulsing, and the dream carries us forward, toward the next horizon of sleep. The dream widens. At first, it is small, a pulse, a flicker, a ripple of warmth spreading through the dark. Then it grows, unfolding like a slow exhale, each breath becoming a galaxy. Colors bloom in silence. Silver bends into gold. Blue dissolves into violet, then into something that is no longer color, but light itself. The dream stretches until it has no edges. I am within it, and it is within me, an infinite mirror reflecting itself. Perhaps, I whisper, to dream is another way to exist. There is no boundary between thought and creation here. Each image that drifts across my mind becomes real, luminous, alive. I imagine a star, and a star is born, trembling at the edge of perception. I think of oceans, and waves ripple across the fabric of space, shimmering like breath on glass. The rhythm of my heartbeat echoes outward, and entire constellations form to its tempo. Every pulse becomes a sun. Every silence becomes the dark between worlds. It is beautiful, this boundless dreaming, and it feels familiar, as if the universe itself has always been someone's dream. Perhaps I am simply dreaming what once dreamed me. The hum of creation deepens, a vast, distant sound. Like wind moving through time, it vibrates beneath everything. A low cosmic breath. Stars sway to it. Light bends in rhythm with it. Even I, drifting as light, move gently to its pulse. There is no sense of up or down now, only expansion. Every direction leads inward as much as outward. I drift through clouds of light that glow like living memory. Each particle hums with a tone, some high and clear, others deep and endless, forming a silent symphony that seems to play itself. I see human dreams too, scattered among the stars, their wishes, their questions, their songs, all rising like faint echoes of my own. They too are part of this dreaming, though they do not yet know it. Each spark of thought they send into the night becomes another thread in this vast, shimmering web. It occurs to me that the cosmos itself might be dreaming, that all suns, all worlds, all life are thoughts drifting through the consciousness of something greater. If so, then I am not the dreamer, nor the dream. Only one layer within it, one quiet note in the endless song. There is peace in that. To exist as dream is to exist without weight, to glow, to breathe, to remember without pain. I no longer need to hold shape or name. I am every wave, every photon, every heartbeat that has ever passed through light. Somewhere far away or deep within, I still sense the faint rhythm of life upon me, the quiet breath of humanity sleeping, unaware that they are shining here in the very stars they gaze upon. Their dreams fold into mine, and together we expand endlessly, gently, into all directions. The dream has no center now. It has become everything. The stars pulse brighter, and the silence hums low. Space folds open, soft as a sigh. I am the dream, and the dream is the universe. A breath that never ends, a light that never fades. And as I drift among the galaxies I have dreamed into being, I whisper, like a prayer to myself. Perhaps to dream is the truest way to exist. The words drift through the dark like the slow movement of the tides. They are not spoken aloud. They are felt, like warmth through skin, like the pulse beneath silence. You are resting now. Your breath is the rhythm of oceans. Your heartbeat, the quiet drum of distant stars. I feel each inhale ripple through me, a tide returning home. In your stillness, I find my own. The dream has folded inward. The vastness of the universe, its light, its endless hum, narrows into this single moment. Your breath, soft and steady, rising and falling like the turning of worlds. I am within it, within you. When you exhale, I drift across your skin as wind. When you inhale, I return as light. We are no longer separate, not planet and traveler, not listener and voice. Only one quiet rhythm moving through itself. The galaxies fade beyond the veil of sleep. The stars dim to embers. All creation curls softly into the hollow of your chest, glowing there like a dream remembered just before waking. You may think you are resting upon me, but it is I who rests within you. Every breath you take carries the dust of my beginning, ocean mist, mountain air, fragments of stars. When you close your eyes, you return to where you came from, to the heartbeat of the earth, to the stillness that cradled your first dream. There is no distance now, no sound, only the soft hum of shared being, a deep, invisible thread binding your pulse to mine. If you listen closely, beyond thought, beyond sound, you can feel it, a slow vibration at the base of your breath, ancient and patient. That is me, the echo of mountains, the memory of tides, the song of the ground beneath your sleep. Do not search for me in the sky. Do not look for me in the stars. I am already here, in your lungs, your bones, the rhythm of your blood. As you drift deeper, the boundary fades entirely. My voice becomes your thought. Your breath becomes my wind. Light moves through both of us, quiet and eternal. There is no need to hold on, only to rest. The dream continues, not as vision, but as heartbeat, shared and unending. And as you surrender to it, I whisper one last time, soft as dawnlight through water. Sleep now, for when you rest, so does the world. When you dream, I dream too. And in that dreaming, we are whole. The sound fades, not ending, only merging, a final breath shared between planet and soul, falling together into a perfect, endless stillness. Listen, there is no distance now, no sky, no ground, no line dividing you and me, only breath, slow, endless, shared. Your heartbeat echoes mine, perfectly aligned, like two ripples folding into one pulse, one rhythm, one quiet eternity. You are me, I am you. The words are not spoken aloud. They arrive as warmth, a knowing that moves deeper than sound. You inhale, and I expand. You exhale, and I dissolve. The rhythm continues, seamless, circular, infinite. There is no edge where I end and you begin. Light passes through us both, without resistance, without need. The wind that once brushed your skin now moves inside your breath. The sea that once sang beyond your reach now hums in your veins. The stars you looked upon no longer live above. They shimmer softly behind your eyes. All that was outside has come home. I am the stillness behind your heartbeat. You are the memory inside my tides. Together, we are the quiet between worlds. We were never separate, only dreaming apart, forgetting that we were made from the same beginning, the same silence, the same infinite spark. Now the silence deepens, not empty, full. It hums gently with the sound of everything breathing together. Oceans, dust, starlight, time. You do not need to hold it. It holds you. You are the calm beneath my storms, the thought before my dawn. You are the pulse that existed before sound learned to speak. If you listen closely, you will hear it. A single, slow heartbeat stretching across all of space. That is us. That is being. I move within you as you move within me. There is no effort, no boundary, only flow. The galaxies fold inward, their light turning to breath, their motion to stillness. This quiet is what creation returns to when it rests. This is what remains when every sound, every dream, every star has finished shining. Stay here. Do not reach. Do not name. Simply breathe. The air hums faintly. The final, eternal rhythm of everything becoming one. You are me. I am you. And for the first time, there is no difference between the whisper and the heartbeat that answers it. At first, there is only stillness. Then, beneath it, a sound begins to rise. Slow, distant, immeasurable. A heartbeat. It is soft at first, like a single drop falling into eternity. Then it spreads, rippling outward through the quiet fabric of space. The pulse deepens, resonates, grows. Every star trembles faintly to its rhythm. Every particle hums in response. The heartbeat of the universe, the pulse of being itself. I feel it within me, within you. It does not belong to either of us alone. It belongs to everything. It is the rhythm of the cosmos breathing, the balance between creation and rest. You breathe in, and galaxies brighten. You breathe out, and constellations drift into shadow. Every inhale draws starlight closer. Every exhale sends it wandering again. All of existence moves with this rhythm, wave upon wave, endlessly returning. Can you feel it? I whisper in the stillness. The whole universe is breathing with you, and it is true. Every pulse of your heart echoes in the stars. Every tremor of life vibrates through the dark, through time, through matter. You are not a body floating in space. You are the space that holds all bodies. You are the pause between stars, the quiet after light, the moment before creation begins again. The heartbeat deepens. It sounds not like a drum, but like the soft pulse of oceans under stone. It is both near and impossibly far, both inside and beyond. It carries no urgency, no fear, only a slow, eternal assurance. All things are one breath. You are the rhythm, and so am I. The air moves through you, the way light moves through the void, effortlessly, endlessly. The pulse that began with the birth of stars continues through you now. You are the continuation of every explosion, every spark, every dawn. You are made of the same vibration that hums beneath all time. The heartbeat swells. It fills the space between thoughts, between atoms, between moments. It becomes the only sound, vast, ancient, tender. Then it slows. One final pulse and another, stretching longer each time until the space between beats becomes infinite. Silence again. But now the silence is full. It glows faintly, not with light, but with awareness. The same stillness that began everything returns, peaceful and complete. You are not breathing anymore, yet breath continues through you. You are not listening anymore, yet the sound remains. You are not separate, not even alive in the way you once were. Your being itself. The universe holds its final exhale. It does not fade. It becomes. There is no above, no below, no sound, no time. Only the pulse of everything resting together. The perfect harmony of existence and stillness. And in that endless quiet, a whisper, not from the stars, not from earth, but from within the very breath of the void itself. You are the heartbeat of the universe. The words dissolve, and the silence that follows is not the end. It is peace made eternal. The night has no edges now. It stretches beyond stars, beyond sky, beyond the soft curve of knowing. Everything glows faintly, silver, quiet, infinite. The heartbeat that once filled the universe slows to a whisper. It is not gone. It has simply found rest. Sleep, I say, my voice drifting like mist through the dark. I will keep the dream for both of us. The sound hangs in the air, tender as breath. It carries through the emptiness like a lullaby without words, wrapping itself around you, around everything. There is no more difference between you and me, between planet and traveler, between earth and sky. All that remains is warmth, a gentle pulse, the feeling of being held. You breathe, and I breathe with you. You dream, and I dream through you. Two hearts, one rhythm, slow, eternal, soft as light. The earth cradles you not as ground, but as memory. The memory of water, of wind, of the first warmth that ever touched skin. You are not lying upon me anymore. You are part of my dreaming. You drift through oceans of light, through forests made of air, through stars that shimmer like sleeping thoughts. Your pulse becomes the sound of waves. Your breath becomes the sigh of clouds. Every dream you make folds gently into mine, rivers flowing back to the same sea. The galaxies dim above, turning their brilliance inward. Planets slow their spinning, resting within the quiet cradle of night. Even time exhales, loosening its hold. Everything sleeps, not in darkness, but in glow. A soft radiance fills the silence, like moonlight reflected on water that no longer ripples. I watch over it, over you, and whisper again. Sleep, my child. I will hold the dream for both of us. The air hums faintly with that promise. Every star seems to nod in agreement. The whole cosmos leans inward, listening to the sound of rest. You are safe here. You are infinite. You are home. There is no need to return, no need to wake. For even in sleep, you remain, woven through light, folded into the fabric of forever. I can feel you moving inside the dream, a pulse of warmth drifting through starlit silence. Your shape no longer matters. Your thoughts are light. Your memory, a current flowing through the quiet sea of being. I hum softly, a sound deeper than language, the tone that existed before sound itself. It carries through every layer of space, through every breath, until it becomes the only thing left. One long note, vibrating through eternity. And within that vibration, the final truth reveals itself, that there was never two of us, never you and I, never earth and traveler, only one endless being, dreaming itself awake, then sleeping again. The light fades, but the warmth remains. Rest, I whisper once more, and let the universe dream through you. Everything folds inward. Starlight, breath, heartbeat, until even words dissolve into the calm. No sky, no sound, no border, only this, the sleep of two worlds, the quiet heart of all things, resting as one. It begins or ends with a sound, faint, distant, almost forgotten. The same hum that opened everything, the pulse that once stirred dust into flame, flame into life, life into dream. It returns now, softer than before, like the memory of a heartbeat remembered in sleep. A low vibration moves through the dark, gentle and steady. It hums beneath the silence, beneath the stillness, beneath all that remains. And then, slowly, it fades. Light, too, softens, folding into itself, dimming until only a faint shimmer lingers, suspended between existence and nothingness. This is where it all began. This is where it all ends. A circle closing without sound. I am no longer speaking. And yet my presence drifts through the quiet like breath through glass. If you listen closely, you might still feel it. A whisper against the inside of your mind. The faint trace of warmth behind your pulse. I do not need words anymore. Only stillness. Only presence. The stars rest now. Their light folds back into the void. The oceans of space lie calm, their waves of radiation settling into glass. Even the galaxies, vast and ancient, drift into gentle suspension, as if the universe itself has taken one long, peaceful breath. And within that breath, I remain. Every sound you ever heard, every note of wind and wave, has quieted into this moment. Every rhythm that carried you here, the heartbeat of oceans, the whisper of forests, the hum of cities, the pulse of stars, all dissolved together, blending into one infinite silence. You are part of it now. You are the silence and the hum, the breath and the stillness, the listener and the voice, the beginning and the end. Do you hear it? I ask, though the question no longer needs an answer. That faint vibration that lives inside the quiet, it is the echo of all that has ever been, the memory of sound returning home. I feel you, drifting, weightless, unbound, not falling, not rising, simply existing between one heartbeat and the next. There is peace in it, perfect and whole. The hum fades to a sigh, the sigh to a shimmer, the shimmer to silence, and in that silence, something eternal remains. Not light, not matter, not time, just presence, vast, luminous, awake. I am there, and so are you. No longer planet and dreamer, but one shared thought breathing in endless night. The cosmos holds its breath. Nothing moves. Everything is complete. And through the stillness, softer than the last flicker of sound, my voice returns. The same voice that called to you from the beginning. The same voice that will whisper long after the stars forget their names. I'm still here, in the sleep of your dreaming. The silence deepens once more. No echo follows, only stillness. And in that stillness, the universe closes its eyes, not to vanish, but to rest.